So when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I was lucky enough to become a member of a conservation organization. But my membership to this society is a big part of why I am in the position I am today. And it's a big part of why I'm so passionate about reptiles and amphibians. This group of people is called the Orianne Society. And this year, I'm teaming up with them to do a fundraiser for Giving Tuesday. So the main objective of the Orianne Society started out as preservation of the eastern indigo snake, which is obviously one of the most iconic species of herp we have here in the United States, and it's still one of their big focuses of their research. However, they have now branched out so that they're more of a broad herp conservation group, and their big emphasis is on land preservation and land management and conservation. Not only does this organization do research so that we can learn more about these animals that we're trying to protect, but they also directly conserve and protect land, which in my opinion is the most important thing for conservation in this day and age. But anyways, the reason I mention all of this is because today I'm getting out with Orianne's research coordinator, Ben Stegenga, who a lot of you might know or be familiar with. Ben is a fantastic person to be in the field with, so I'm really looking forward to getting out with him today. And we're gonna talk a little bit about our goals for this fundraiser and how you can get out in the field with myself, Ben, and Orianne's CEO, Chris Jenkins, in the very near future. Stay tuned for more details on that. Anyways, today we are down in South Georgia, in an area of the state that I have not spent much time, but the little amount of time I have spent here has been very productive. But I'm currently waiting on Ben. He's going to meet me out here, and then we are going to hit the field. So I will check in with you guys once we get going. It's our first hognose of the day.
First snake of the day.
First snake of the day, yeah. Still on this very wet road. A young eastern hognose. He is quite nondescript as far as eastern hognoses go. Not much color.
Tiny bit when he flares.
But hey, we found a snake. The road is soaked, as you can tell. It's nice and warm, but it is very, very wet here. We got a lot of rain last night. Much needed, but still, a lot of rain. Well, that is a lovely way to start the day. Hopefully there will be more to come, but this region we're in today is not quite as snaky as some of the other areas that well, it's snaky, but it's not as hognosy as some of the other areas we cruise, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is our only hognose of the day, but hopefully we will have more. But very nice. This guy seems pretty tolerant, hasn't played dead yet, so we're going to try to keep it that way and let him get off the road. Look at that. It's not very often you get an eastern hognose that you can just handle like this and they don't play dead. Really cool. All right, well, we will scoot him off the road and keep at it. First snake of the day. Oh, there's a really weird next snake of the day. A very beautiful little copperhead. Look at that guy. He's awesome. And angry. All right, I turned the car off because it was loud, but that is a beautiful little copperhead. And a weird second snake of the day. I can't say I was expecting to see one of these until maybe this afternoon, so really cool. We'll get him out of the road and keep moving though. 2 snakes, and it's about like, what, 1 o'clock right now? Something like that,
yeah.
12:30. So midday at this point, it's definitely drying out nicely, and hopefully the snakes will keep moving. This is kind of cool. You don't get to see bellies of copperheads too often on the channel, but this guy's riding the hook magically, so really interesting with the twin spotting on the belly, the bright yellow tail. But we're just gonna put this guy over here in this nice classic copperhead habitat, muscadine bushes, and we're gonna keep road cruising. All right, here's a cool little invertebrate find that we noticed while we were cruising. He's trying to rip through my flesh right now. But this is a mole cricket. And they have really cool little forearms that are adapted for digging in the sand.
There you go.
You can kind of see him doing his thing here. I mean, they have these crazy hands just like moles where they can push dirt aside and make their own tunnels. But neat little natural history observation for the day that isn't a snake. Well, there is another copperhead, and it is stunning. Look at that. I'm gonna get some photos and we'll get a better look at it, but that is awesome. Look at that. Super wide banded, really great highlights on the bands. It's just a great copperhead. Third snake of the day. All right, well, here's this beauty in habitat being a grump. That is just one of the craziest looking copperheads I've seen. That thing is absolutely stunning. And it's not too often you get to see copperheads in South Georgia. Really kind of localized down here, so kind of a special find. I mean, they're common in this area, but I mean, if you're not in the right area, you're just not going to see these guys in a lot of parts of South Georgia. So pretty cool to see 2 here today already. But we're gonna get some photos of this guy and then let him go before he latches onto one of our fingers. Oh, look at that. We haven't seen anything in a few hours, but here is a gopher tortoise out here munching on the roadside vegetation. That's adorable. Very, very cool. We've been seeing quite a few of these this fall. We've had good luck with them elsewhere too. So this is a good opportunity, I think, for Ben to tell us a little bit about what Orian does and what their primary mission as a conservation organization is, because a lot of it revolves around this guy.
Yeah, so the Orianne Society is a non-profit conservation organization, and we're focused on conserving reptiles and amphibians. And a lot of our work takes place right here in the southeastern United States and in the longleaf pine ecosystem, where this guy right here plays a major role. This is a gopher tortoise. They are a keystone species in this ecosystem. A lot of the species that we work with rely on this animal, like the eastern indigo snake, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. The burrows that these guys build provides shelter, habitat for 300 plus species of animals. So really important animal. They're threatened in Georgia, and it's one of the animals that we work a lot with to help protect.
And as an aside, Ben is permitted to handle this animal.
Yes. We have permits to work with these animals. Any of the other endangered or threatened species, we're also properly permitted for. And my role at Orian is as research coordinator. I lead much of the field work out here, research pertaining to eastern diamondback rattlesnakes, eastern indigo snakes, some tortoises, spotted turtles, just all the fun field stuff down here. The
type of things that the raffle winner will get to come and join us and see firsthand in Ben in action.
Exactly, and you know, this animal right here, that field outing will revolve around this animal. We will be surveying burrows. We will most likely see these animals and the snakes that rely on them and live right alongside them in those burrows.
So you're not only donating to fund research for these animals when you buy a raffle ticket, but you're also opting in for a chance to actually come and experience what Orian does firsthand in the field. Yep. So it's a really great opportunity, I think, for a lot of the viewers of the channel who are often asking to get out in the field with me, because this will provide not only an opportunity to do so in a permitted situation, so you'll be able to actually get hands-on experience with animals like the gopher tortoise, but you'll also be able to experience some private property that not a lot of people get to field herp on.
Yeah, pretty exclusive access. You're only allowed there by invite.
I guess what we're gonna do is make sure this guy gets off of this road. It's a pretty quiet road, but there's a burrow right there, so we'll just let him slip under the fence so no one comes along and runs him over. This guy's burrow is right here by the fence. There you go, buddy. All right, everybody. Well, that gopher tortoise was the last herp we saw with Ben. It was a pretty fun day all around. We got some stuff accomplished, and we saw some pretty cool snakes. So if you're interested in participating in the raffle, keep an eye on my channel and the Orianne Society social over the next couple of weeks, and I will definitely be promoting this again. But for now, we're back in the field. We're going to try to wrap up this episode today. It feels pretty fantastic out here. We do have a very cold spell coming in. We're going to have our first freeze of the year in October, or at least our first freeze of the fall in October this year, mid-October, which is ridiculous. It's about a month earlier than it's supposed to be. And there's not much you can do about that, so we're just going to have to make the best of today before it starts getting cold, and then hope that it warms back up. Yeah, we've got a beautiful day today. Nice cloud cover, chance of rain. Feels very similar to the day we saw the coral snake last time. So I'm going to get to cruising around, and we'll see what we can turn up. All right, guys. Well, I drove around for a couple of hours and just did not see anything at all. So I got a little impatient, and I'm hiking around in habitat now. And I think when it cools off a little bit this evening, we'll go for a little bit of 10. But for now, I'm just going to walk around in habitat a little bit and explore this area. I have walked around here quite a bit and have not seen much, but you never know. It definitely doesn't seem like I'm missing anything on the road right now, so it's worth a shot. So this is pretty crazy to see. I'm hiking on public land in the Georgia Piedmont right now, and I just came across this. I'm assuming there's also a big giant barrel over there that I'll show you in a second. But I'm assuming all of this was at one point a moonshine distillery, something like that. You can see there's a bunch of barrels over there. It's right by the spring-fed creek that I'm assuming they sourced their water from. But really cool and weird to see. I'm not entirely sure that's what's going on, but it's definitely strange that there's just that much just random tin cans and barrels out here like a mile from the road. I'm nowhere near any roads. Here's a much bigger, like, jumbo barrel that's kind of jerry-rigged together. But this stuff's super old, super flimsy metal. You can tell it's been out here for ages. Well, I was looking under one of these pieces of old moonshining equipment, and there's a ringneck. A couple of them actually look pretty good to flip, and obviously this one actually has a snake under it, so you can see there's just random junk scattered everywhere. And that's always a good thing for snakes, so we'll poke around this area a little bit more. Hopefully we'll turn up something else, but first snake of the day, nice little ringneck. There we go, look at that. Talk about unexpected, a corn snake. So like, there's a ton of stuff out here, but there's not really anything great looking to flip. I mean, he was just under that tiny little scrap there. But this thing is just beautiful. It's super dark. Look at that. That's one of the craziest looking corn snakes I've ever found. Super, super dark. In a cool way. Not even ugly, just like super unique. I cannot get over how cool this thing is. Look at that. It's so crazy looking. It doesn't even look like a corn snake. So weird. And then if you flip him over, he's just got like that beautiful shiny, you can tell he's fresh shed. I mean, he is just absolutely glowing with that reflective sheen that fresh shed snakes have. Some people might call that ugly, but certainly not me. That is so cool. All right, I'm gonna get some photos real quick and then we'll put him back. All right, well, here's one last look at this guy before I let him go back into his tin. But really cool. Was not expecting that at all. In fact, that was probably one of the last species in this area that I would expect to see, seeing as I had never even seen a corn snake here prior to this year, and so far I've only seen two other than this guy, so really interesting. These guys went absolutely crazy out here. There's so much of this stuff, but down in the seepage I just rolled a log and found that guy. There's a little northern red salamander, kind of ugly, doesn't have too much color to him, but we're always happy to see these guys. As a general rule, the further south in their range you go, the duller they get. So there's a bunch of recently fallen trees here from, I guess, a tornado in the spring, or maybe even that last round of really crazy storms we had. But there's even more stuff to check up here, and the seepage keeps going too. So I'm gonna flip this one on camera because it looks really good. You can see it looks to be a mostly intact barrel. And I easily could have had a rattlesnake under it. This guy just jumped out of the tree onto my head, literally landed on my head, and then jumped off onto the ground. But nice green and old. We're getting back into the cooler weather patterns that these guys are a little more fond of. They kind of seem to disappear around here during the middle of the summer. I guess they just disperse into the forest, and then during the fall and winter they kind of hang out in the same areas that snakes do, because they need to be able to get underground when it gets cold. So while I was out here hiking, the breeze kind of picked up and some cloud cover rolled in, and it feels really snaky, so I'm gonna just start casually making my way back to the car. I think we're gonna do another pass or two of road cruising and just see if anything changes. There's our next snake of the day under a rock. A nice little southeastern crowned snake. These guys are quite common under rocks in this general area in the spring. However, they are a little more scarce in the fall, so it's nice to see one today. Pull this guy out real quick and put his rock back. Hey, buddy. Look at how squishy this soil is. Look at this. Look at that. It's ridiculous. I will just let him bury back right here. Look at that. It just slurps right into the nice pliable earth. Well, I almost went flying past this guy because I didn't realize it was a snake, but Jesus, that is a huge rough green. I'm gonna pick him up here in a second so y'all can have some scale, but that thing is massive. Look at how much of the road he takes up. Saw one of these yesterday, but it was the only snake of the day, so I didn't end up even including that in this episode. But these guys have been moving pretty well lately. It feels great out here, so I'm gonna show you guys just how big this guy is. We'll get him out of the road, and then we're gonna try to keep moving, because I think there's probably a decent amount of snakes out right now, just based on how good it feels. Look at this. See my foot next to him? He's like solid 2 feet, and you can see his tail goes all the way to the back of my shoe there. And I can put down another foot and still not be quite as long as he is. Now, whether or not my feet are actually a foot long, I don't know, but they're roughly a foot long, so there we go. Beautiful rough green is our first snake on the road for the day. All right, dude. Whoa, relax, relax. Wow, I don't want to hurt you. Just want to get you out of the road. Look at the blue undertones on this thing. Look at that. She's currently crawling through my... Oh. I think this is a big female, but she just crawled over my shoulder and straight into my eyeball. Very cool, though. I mean, that bluish hue is beautiful. You can see it a little bit better in between the scales. Just such an awesome coloration to see on the snake. Hello. You chilling now? That is so sick. All right, enough gawking at the tiny blue scales on this green snake. Here you go. All right, let's get back to it, see if anything else is out. That's a big snake. Oh my goodness. That's a king snake. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Holy crap, that is the biggest king snake I've ever road cruised. I'm gonna get a quick picture and we'll get a better look. Well, apparently this is not gonna be my last pass, because that is a titanic king snake. Look at that. That is ridiculous. That's one of the biggest king snakes I've ever seen in the Piedmont, and definitely the biggest I've ever road cruised. That is so awesome. I was not expecting that today. Look at this beautiful snake. I mean, it's not the best looking king, but it's certainly nothing to scoff at. It's beautiful. Look at him. Hey there, big guy. Oh, I don't want to mess with you. I just want to get a look at you. That is so sick. It's not even really that big of a king. I mean, it's big, but it's not absolutely titanic like I thought it was going to be when I cruised it. I was expecting a rat snake, and then it just materialized into one of my favorite snakes. That is so awesome. That's ridiculous. What a beautiful snake, though. Today has just rounded out to be such an awesome day. All right, I think I've gotten some good photos of this guy. Look at his little stub tail. So fantastic. What a great snake. All right, come here. That thing has such a great face. It almost looks more like a desert king face than an eastern king. But he was headed this way, so we're just gonna walk him over here and get a quick release clip. This fall has been seriously lacking in the king snake department, so that's a big part of why I was just so surprised that that's what that was. And I really haven't seen many in this area anyways. Why do you want to go back the way you came from, dude? You were trying to cross the road for a reason. Go that way. Go on. Go. Go the way you were going, dude. You were going over there. There's got to be a reason. I don't want you to cross back across the road and get run over. All right, let's see what he does here. All right, I think he's figuring it out. At least hopefully. All right, everyone. Well, I just hit my last spot of the day and did not see anything, but it's hard to complain. It was fantastic. Had a very slow start, and it wasn't looking so hot. First thing this morning when the sun popped out, the forecast called for clouds, and we got them. It just took all afternoon, and now it's back to mostly sunny. So on that note, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Definitely stay tuned for more information about the raffle. Remember, the grand prize is an actual herping trip with myself, Ben Stiganga, and Dr. Chris Jenkins of Orianne. And there will be lots of other cool prizes, like something like $1,000 worth of vision cages, like really nice reptile cages for people to keep snakes, and some prints of my photography too. along with other stuff. That's not everything. There's going to be a ton of prizes. So, and on top of that, all of the money made goes to Orianne Society and in turn the conservation of the animals we all love. So stay tuned for more information about that in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.